This is a shelter that's typical of what I make. I make a variety of shelters with the tarp system I have. In this case I have two trees with a ridge line strung between them, and I have a tarp on the ground. It's a 4x6 tarp on the ground for me to lay on or wrap myself in, keep me off the ground. It's hot weather. I'm not worried about being cold from the ground. All I'm worried about is getting out of the sun, the wind, and the rain. And this is a 7x9 tarp. It gives me plenty of overhead cover. I can protect one side completely from the wind or the rain, and I have the other side with plenty of overhang to get me away from rain on this side. Also gives me plenty of view around so that when I'm sitting inside I can see what's going on around me. It's held in place, like I said, by this simple ridge line. The ridge line is simply wrapped around the tree, simple knot, but also doubles back and goes through the grommet. And I also have these lines through the grommet, through the other grommet, and to a peg. So it's very secure. No matter how windy it gets, unless it's, really severe, this is not going anywhere. It's going to hold up under severe conditions. All four corners, the grommets are tied off and then pegged. And also coming up, the grommet on the ridge line is secured so that it cannot move. Very important to secure your grommets at the ridge line and at the corners. But you can also add more security. You can see I used a tree to improvise on this side just because it was there and wouldn't be practical to try to take it to the ground. Made a nice spot for an access point on this side. But also I have poles that add support to my ridge and also to my sides. So in windy conditions I have support here. And you can see from sitting inside, it's nice and high, got plenty of room. Hot day like today, there's plenty of airflow. I can peek out on all sides and see what's going on around me. Okay, so this is my little latrine area. As you can see, it's in the middle of the scrub, but I got a little opening here. It's a fair distance away from my campsite. And I got what I call a hang tree here. And I put a hole next to it. And that's so I could do my thing and bury it. I hardly had to clean any brush out of the way, just a little bit of brush right here, which will grow back very quickly as soon as it's left alone. Great place for a latrine, a distance from your camp, in the brush with a little opening, and a hang tree. Here that dense scrub is giving way to dry open forest with a lot more oaks in it, and the undergrowth is very low and there's a lot of tea-berry here. Do me some tea-berry picking, get back to camp and make me some tea. Today for my cooking needs I brought a rocket stove and cup in this dry bag. Love these dry bags to compartmentalize my gear, and of course I double bag stuff. Holds it together real nice, protects it from the weather. Don't have to worry about noise, it keeps it together real nice. Look at this. Nice fit there. Got my rocket stove, a pouch here. Really recommend doing anything you can to find little ways to improvise for carrying your gear in a very quiet way, compact way that protects it from the weather. And that's just one example. I'm going to set myself up for a little tea. Tell you what, those rocket stoves get boiling quick. Really quick. Tea berry is the base of my tea, but I'm also adding some pine needles and blueberry leaves. So for me, there is a real sense of relief when I can stop and set up a little temporary shelter. This area right here has been my base camp for a while now. I come here, I set up a base camp, I go on and I do my studies, I do my hiking, my trekking, but I always have this base camp to come back to. Now when I'm here, there's a real sense of security because I've marked out a spot here for myself. And that is, there's security because not only do I have a spot that I can get out of the sun, get out of the rain, pop-up thunderstorm that comes along, but also I have less of a worry about an accidental predator. And that is a predator that I come upon or it comes upon me accidentally. We have an encounter and bad things could happen. And they do happen. I've heard plenty of stories in the past couple of years, and I've heard stories even this year of happen chance encounters where fight or flight mode kicks in. Either the human kicks into flight mode and they become mistaken for prey, or the predator goes into fight mode because of fear, because it wants to protect itself, its young, or it wants to protect its territory or its food source. They go into fight mode. When close contact encounters happen, bad things can happen. But when you mark out a spot for yourself, your sense here, your presence is made known because you're doing things here, you're relieving yourself here. It's a good indicator for predators that don't want anything to do with you to stay away. Now there are rogue predators, and that's something you always have to worry about. I believe in, once you set up a little spot, one of the first things is camp security. Get yourself a little bit of things together that can protect you other than what you carry on you. So a club, a staff, if you don't have it, any kind of thing. Even set up little barriers on open areas where something might travel in. Little things like that are very important to secure your area. Make your presence known, little security, less worry. You can relax, enjoy your afternoon, have your lunch, relieve yourself, and then pick up, move on, and not worry about, will I make it home tonight? Or will I make it home at the end of my trip? So, a few tips from me. I know not everyone is going to go for it. Not everyone's going to practice what I do. I highly suggest doing everything you can to be safe out here. When I break camp, I don't leave any sign behind that I was there. Got my stuff together here, my walking stick in my pack. Whatever poles I cut and used, I stash them in the brush right nearby for the next time I come out here into this spot.